This deputy was none of those. Luke was close to home now, and Greer, the man who'd killed his father, knew he was coming because Luke had sent a letter, along with a legal document, telling Greer to get off Stone Land. Greer didn't want Luke to make it home. Luke knew a setup when he saw one, which meant there was little or no chance he could talk his way out of this, which left fighting his only way out. He braced himself, determined not to hurt a lawman, at least not too bad. But once a jailhouse door clanked shut, Lucas expected the only way out would be as he was led to the gallows. The deputy reached for Luke's pocket. Luke shoved the kid's gun upward, drove his fist into the kid's belly, then slugged him in the jaw. Luke jerked the pistol out of the deputy's hand, chopped him on the skull with the gun butt, and grabbed the front of his shirt to lower him, unconscious, to the stable floor. Luke flipped open his saddlebags to find a cloth cash bag. Dragging it out, Luke looked at it for a few long seconds. Tempted. Considering its weight, Luke knew it was gold. It would come in handy. It'd buy him enough bullets to start a war, which was exactly what Luke had in mind to do. With some regret, but no interest in turning thief, he dropped the money, then double-checked the saddlebags to make sure there wasn't more. Whoever had tried to frame him hadn't wanted to part with too much. If this was Greer's work, the man was thorough. So if the deputy was here in the stable, where was the sheriff? Luke eyed the doorway and was sure if he walked out, he'd be facing a firing squad. With grim silence, Luke finished slapping leather on his horse and led it to the back door of the stable. A black horse on a black night, and Luke always dressed to move around undetected. No shining hatband, no silver trim on his boots or colt. No jingling spurs. Easing the door open, he saw a stretch of land leading into a copse of trees. Behind those trees, a bluff rose. He'd seen it earlier. But could Luke's gelding climb the bluff? Being afoot in Texas was a good way to end up dead. His horse was game, so Luke set out, leading his mount, listening for every night sound, his hand on his six-gun, as they paced off the distance to the shelter of the trees. No one stopped him. If this was Greer's work, he'd be furious. He was a man who hired his shooting done, and he expected his money's worth. Luke reached the trees and decided to trust the black to find a way up. Mounting, he rode up the bluff and over the top. As soon as he was out of hearing distance, Luke slapped his horse's rump, and they picked up the pace in moonlight, almost as bright as day. While he put space between himself and the posse that was bound to be coming, Luke wondered how much Greer had paid to kill Pa. Top dollar, most likely, because the job had been done right. Pa dead. His S-S ranch stolen. Luke was headed home to set things right. "Ruth, stop dawdling back there," Pa Reinhardt shouted. "I need you to take the reins." Dawdling? It was all Ruthy MacNeil could do to keep from snorting with contempt. She'd been working since before sunup, at twice the speed of any of the Reinhardts. But she knew better than to ask questions when Pa Reinhardt used that voice. Usually the back of his hand followed quickly, if she didn't move fast enough. She shoved the last box, containing the food and skillet, into the bed of the covered wagon, and hurried around to swing up beside Ma. "About time." Ma turned up her nose as if Ruthy smelled bad. Ruthy didn't even comment on Ma being there, settled in, while Ruthy cleaned up the campsite. That was the way of things in this family she'd been dragged into.